This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Sandy Yong. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing very well.
It's a good pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Toronto, Canada.
Sweet. The temperature is amazing there, isn't it?
It's warming up. I feel that spring is in the air.
That's great. Well, tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
Yes, well, I am an author of the upcoming book called The Money Master. I'm so excited because it is based on three main pillars. It covers personal finance, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. And it will be scheduled to be published this June. And for those people who don't know me, I graduated from university back in 2009, and this was during the economic recession. And I was really fortunate enough to land a corporate job, and I worked very hard to pay off my student debt. But then I realized that I needed to save money for all of life's major milestones, such as buying a car, down payment on a property, having my dream wedding, and of course retiring one day. So like most people, I went to one of the big banks and I got burned by mutual funds. So from that moment on, I decided to take matters into my own hands and learn how to become a DIY investor. And I was able to do that through reading personal finance and investing books. And I've been fortunate enough to create a six-figure investment portfolio as well as own several income properties with my husband. So since then, I felt that I could help teach others to become financially savvy themselves, because when I have conversations with my coworkers and my friends, I've learned that many people are living paycheck to paycheck and they can barely save enough money for even an emergency fund. So this is why I decided to write my upcoming book, The Money Master, and I feel that I can help people overcome their fears and failures and help them get back on track to achieve financial stability. And that way I'm contributing to making this world a better place.
Where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you?
Well, in terms of online, you can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at The Money Master Book and Twitter at Money Master Book.
That's wonderful. Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
I would say that I like to keep a budget, and actually my husband and I have a Google Sheets document where we've kept track of all of our savings, our investments, our pensions, and the income that we receive from our rental properties. And this way, every month we have a conversation. We go to review our finances, and then we can see whether we're on track or not, and we can adjust and monitor our goals that way.
You've been doing that for the past 3 years, have you?
Yeah, well, with my husband, but for myself, I've been practicing it for the past decade.
Oh, wow. How does it make you feel?
It is amazing because in the short term, when you first start, it takes a little while to build up that momentum, and it's almost like that snowball effect. But once you continue going, it's those small habits that you make on a daily basis, and when you're saving every week and every month, by the end of the year, you've got a pretty large sum of money, and it's great to see my investment grow year after year. And of course, I've made some mistakes along the way because we are human and there's emotions involved when it comes to handling money. But I feel that I've been able to build that track record and And then so many people don't even know where to start. So I want to be able to help guide them along the way.
That's wonderful. Definitely wonderful. I'm glad that you've decided to be that person who is helping other people. Now, is it possible for you to help others that are on the international listeners?
To have international listeners? For sure, yeah.
Are you applying the same? Because you are in Canada, right? So,
Yes, right. So my website, if anyone who's listening internationally, you can go to my website, which is sandyyong.com. It's spelled SANDYYONG.com. And you can go there. You can find out more information about me. And I will be launching a blog in the near future as well. So I will be providing tips and tricks on when it comes to saving, budgeting, investing, saving on expenses, and so on.
all right, Sandy. Well, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm blue Caribbean water. Sandy, what's your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory, I would say that one summer I was playing with my friends out in my front porch of my house, and we would play pretend. And this time we were pretending to own a store, and we would sell different trinkets and jewelry and candies and chocolates, and I was the cashier handling the money. And I think it was from that moment I realized what it would be like to be a store owner or a business owner, and it planted a seed in my mind to explore becoming an entrepreneur. And that's when it started, when I was young. And I would also dedicate this to my father, because he was the sole income provider for our family. And growing up, I watched him pursue his career as a chef, and he worked in several seafood restaurants, and he even owned a couple of restaurants himself. And being able to witness him work long hours, I could see that he was really passionate about cooking and making his customers really happy. And so as a child growing up with that father figure who was a business owner, it also inspired me to follow in his footsteps.
Well, I love how you connected the dots. That's pretty impressive. How did you feel when you saw, if you do play Monopoly, when you saw that they don't have cash anymore in some of them?
In the newer editions of Monopoly?
Yes.
I've played the one that's a card game.
Right.
And so a Monopoly Deal, which is a much shorter version from the classic board game. I think it's fun to see the different variations and different editions that they've come out with. And I mean, they like to keep up with the trends and what's hot. So yeah, and I love Monopoly. I think it's a fantastic game. Also teaches you patience, but also teaches you to look at real estate in terms of how you can earn income from it. So I think that's a really important skill for children to learn.
Well, I cried when I saw that the banker was removed. I think for the cards, like, it felt so good being the banker. Like, I loved being the banker. Yeah. Let me fast forward to when you were 12 years old. What was your favorite song?
Well, I grew up in the age of boy bands and also girl bands as well, but I loved listening to the Backstreet Boys. They had so many classic songs in the 90s, and I would say that my favorite song when I was 12 would be I Want It That Way.
You almost sung it, didn't you?
Almost did. Not that great at karaoke, but I do love that song, and I hear it on the radio sometimes.
That was wonderful. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Sandy?
Yes, I am.
Sandy, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have, and I would say in terms of DIY investing, I am planning to host workshops and speak at various conferences to help educate people on how they can create multiple streams of income through self-directed investing and real estate investing.
Oh, you said you were married. Do you have children?
I do. Oh no, so I am married. I
Right.
do not have children, but both my husband and I, we are authors of upcoming books, and we're members of Toastmasters, and we own two pet rabbits.
There we go. They count, don't they? Do you believe in God?
I would say that I believe in the law of the universe and the secret, and whatever goal you put out there into the universe, it will make a path for you and give you opportunities to achieve it.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I have several groups of friends. My closest ones are high school friends, and my other ones are a bit more business minded. And I love how I can share my goals and my passions with my business minded friends, and we can support each other.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I do not, and that's
Oh,
because I have a full time career in my book and speaking business, so I don't have time for that. But occasionally, my husband and I will go out to watch a movie.
all right, all right. What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, I would say on a cell phone, less than 8 hours. But unfortunately, at my full time job, I do need to be in front of a computer. However, I try to reduce my social media intake and reduce distractions and to replace it with books and podcasts.
All right, Sandy. And tell me, like, how often do you read?
I kind of go in ebbs and flows. Sometimes I read a lot, and then for a little while I don't. But right now I have 3 books on the go.
Sweet. All right. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Sandy Young, what would you say that is?
I would say that it is take time to invest in yourself today so that your future self will thank you for it.
Love it. I love how you put the investment in there. That's super cool. Well, Sandy, again, this has been such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would like to share that for those of you who are listening and you would like to have a free digital download copy of my upcoming book, The Money Master, go to sandyyong.com and sign up for the newsletter, and I will send that out to you complimentary of Angel Jones.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that tremendously. Sandy Young, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
You're
Good night.
welcome. Good night.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.